is Shirley, and today we're reading Chapter 5 of Nancy During the Clue Crew, Number 4, Cinderella Ballet Mystery, Ballet Blender, by Carolyn Keene, illustrated by Mackie Pamachua. Let's start reading. Chapter 5, The Drama Queen. Nancy held the beret out to George and Bess. At first I thought it was a Z shape, she said, then turned it sideways, but now I'm wondering if it's an N shape. Maybe, George said. Bess nodded slowly. She seemed to be following Nancy's train of thought. That means it could be Nadine's. She wears berets. Nancy leaned back against her pile of fluffy pillows and was quiet. Nadine was really, really mad that Andrea got to be Cinderella instead of her, Nancy said after a while. George nodded. It looks like she tried to trip Andrea yesterday at rehearsal, but it might have been on accident. No way, Bess said. She grabbed a handful of buttery popcorn that Hannah had made for the girls. That was no accident. So maybe Nadine stole the slippers to ruin the Cinderella Ballet for Andrea and everybody else, Nancy mused, and while she was stealing them, her beret fell and got stuck in the crack of the shelf. George typed everything onto the computer. Let's look at it from a different angle. What if the beret fell and got stuck there some other time, like last week or last month, or whatever? She just said out loud. What if the beret belonged to somebody with the initial N? Bess said. We need to talk to Nadine as soon as possible, Nancy announced. I have to ask you something, Nancy told Nadine. It was Thursday, a few minutes before rehearsal. The studio was already crowded with dancers who were stretching and getting ready. Nancy, Bess, and George had found Nadine in the corner by herself. Nadine tugged her black leg warmers over her tights and glanced up at Nancy and her friends. What? She asked suspiciously. Nancy pulled the silver beret out of her dance bag and held it out to Nadine. Is this yours? Nadine stared at the beret. Nope, that's not mine. Lately, I only wear berets shaped like flowers, animals, or musical notes. That one is shaped like, well, I'm not sure what it's shaped like. It's either a lightning bolt or a really skinny tree. Actually, we think it's the letter N. George piped up. We? What do you mean, we? You're not on one of your crazy Clue Crew cases, are you? Nadine said. We are. We're trying to find the missing Cinderella slippers, Bess replied. The beret is a clue, a very important clue. Nadine's jaw dropped. Am I one of your suspects? She demanded. Where were you between the end of Tuesday's rehearsal and the beginning of Wednesday's rehearsal? Nancy asked her. Did you steal the slippers? Bess blurted out. What made you do it, Nadine? George added. I don't believe this, Nadine exclaimed. Of course I didn't steal those slippers. Why was everyone so worried about them anyway? Andrea can wear another pair of ballet shoes. I'm the real victim here. I was rejected for the part of Cinderella, not once, but twice. She held up her fingers and stabbed them in the air dramatically. Maybe you stole the slippers because you're not getting the part, Bess said. Of course I'm mad. I should have been. Cinderella, Nadine huffed. But why would I make things even worse by committing a crime? I don't want to spend opening night in jail. Nancy, Bess, and George exchanged a look. Nadine was being her usual drama queen self. But she was telling the truth about was she telling the truth about not stealing the slippers? Sometimes clues are a lot easier to figure out than people, Nancy thought. On the studio floor, rehearsal was underway for the Act 2 scenes. Nancy watched George, Bess, and some of the other dancers practicing pirouettes with Mr. McGuire's help. Pirouettes were involved spinning on one foot and were difficult to do. Nancy was not in the scene, so she took the opportunity to do a second search for clues. This time, she crawled on the floor on her hands and knees and got a really close look. She peeked into every crevice. She peered into every nook and cranny. She found a lot of rusty bobby pins, empty paper cups, and dust bunnies. Yuck, she said, making a face. Then she found something that was a little more interesting in the set storage area. It was a small piece of white paper, half hidden under a shelf. She picked it up and stared at it closely. It said, Taily? I don't know what that says, guys. I'm pretty sure it says Taily. Taily 35. Nancy frowned. What did Taily mean? Was it code for something? Then she noticed that the words Taily 35 were written in the same fancy cursive style as the letters on the Cinderella shoebox. Maybe the piece of paper came from inside the shoebox, she thought. It's definitely a clue, Nancy told herself. She stuffed the piece of paper into her pocket and made a mental note to discuss it with her fellow Clue Crew detectives later. Then she brushed the dust off her tights and headed over to where her dance bag lay on the floor. On her way, she almost tripped over Gregory's legs. He was sitting on the floor going through his own dance bag. Scruffy was sitting next to him, sniffing everything. Gregory moved his legs out of the way. Oh, sorry, he mumbled. Nancy glanced down. Gregory had dumped some of the contents of his dance bag out on the floor. They were dirty socks, a water bottle, school notebooks, homework assignments, a half-eaten granola bar, dirty t-shirts, and a dirty towel. What a mess! Are you cleaning out your bag? Nancy asked him curiously. Gregory shook his head. Nah, just looking for something. Oh. Nancy turned to go, but then she noticed something shiny and glittery in the pile of Gregory's stuff. It was a rhinestone, a small, clear, heart-shaped rhinestone. It looked just like the rhinestones from the missing Cinderella slippers. Okay guys, that's it. Chapter 6 is called A Blazing Head Time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell. Keep reading, keep tuning. See you guys next video. Bye!